Hari Om. So in this 9th chapter, Bhagavan again reveals his nature. So there are these 3 factors which one should know. One is Jiva, another is Jagat, and the third is Jagadishwar. So Jiva, Jagat, and Jagadishwar, these are the 3 seeming tattvas which are explained in all the great philosophies. In Vedanta, Bhagavan ultimately reveals that these 3 are not actually 3, they are in fact one only. They appear 3 in the beginning, but ultimately we have to realize their oneness. To give example of the ocean, the waves, one wave, many waves, and the ocean itself appears to be different. One wave appears to be different from the other wave. Wave appears to be different from an ocean. But the ocean, all waves put together, and the individual wave essentially are water alone. Similarly, Jiva, Jagat, and Jagadishwar are that one supreme essence, the supreme reality. So that Shastra, that knowledge Bhagavan is going to reveal in this chapter. So he is preparing Arjuna, because before revealing this, he wants Arjuna to be all set, all ready to receive. So he says, I will tell you this great knowledge, which is a royal knowledge, royal secret, extremely pure, but which can be experienced directly, supremely righteous, and easy to follow, and imperishable. So you listen to it and gain this knowledge. Now before revealing this knowledge, Bhagavan tells us what happens to those who don't have faith in this, or don't accept or acquire this knowledge. What happens to them? In the 3rd shloka he says, we'll chant, Ashraddhadhana purushaha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani ashraddhadhana purushaha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. Bhagavan says, Hey Parantapa, hey Arjun, that those who don't have, those beings, those people who don't have faith in this knowledge, don't accept this knowledge, they don't have faith in the path and in the goal which is indicated, they have no faith. They say, though all this is wrong, we don't accept it. Ashraddha. Ashraddha means lack of faith. Faith means trust or acceptance that it is true. See, when somebody tells us something, we may not have experienced it directly, but we can just accept it on face value that what the person is saying is true. It's called faith. Faith is the first step. The second step is to follow that path and actually realize it. It's like somebody saying that, oh, there's a beautiful moonrise. You go out and see it. So first I have to have faith in the words of that person. Then I will go out and experience the beautiful moonrise. And when I experience, that is the fulfillment of faith. Faith itself is not knowledge, but faith is required to gain knowledge. Faith is essential to gain knowledge, because before we have knowledge, we don't have knowledge. Simple mathematics. Before we have gained knowledge, we are ignorant. So in the state of ignorance, when somebody is giving us knowledge, we should have faith in that person. We should have faith in the words of that person. Then only we will proceed on that path. Therefore, in 4th chapter, Bhagavan says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. That those who have faith, they will gain knowledge. Many people remain stuck at the level of faith. They don't go towards gaining that knowledge. We say, oh, I have great faith in Bhagavad Gita. Whatever Gita says is true, that's called faith. Whatever Bhagavan Krishna says is true is called faith. But have you practiced it? Have you experienced it yourself? No, I have not experienced it, but I have great faith. So that is faith, but it should culminate in knowledge, in direct experience. Then only it is fulfilled, otherwise it is incomplete. But there are those who don't even have this faith. They just don't accept the teaching. They say it is all wrong, it is not true, it is not possible, it is all false. So that is called ashraddha. In the previous chapters also, in the 4th chapter, Bhagavan has said that those who don't have shraddha, those who have samshayatma vinashyati, they totally perish. It is necessary to go into unknown. That which is unknown, we can proceed into that unknown field only with faith. If there is no faith, we remain stuck in the known. People get stuck in the known world because of that lack of faith. But faith should culminate, as I said, in knowledge and in that experience. So Bhagavan says, those who don't have faith, ashraddhadhana purushaha dharmasyasya parantapa, in this dharma, in this great teaching of mine, which he calls it dharma, this knowledge of the self, this Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam is called dharma, the greatest of righteousness. Greatest of righteousness is to know ourselves properly. Not knowing ourselves creates a lot of unrighteousness in the world. When I don't know myself properly as I am, I behave in a dharmic way only. So, self-knowledge is considered as the greatest of all righteousness. One who is established in this self-knowledge is the very embodiment of dharma. Like the great Mahatmas, they are the very embodiment of dharma. Whatever they do, whatever they say, you can accept it as righteousness only. In Ramayana also it is said that whatever Bharatji, the way he behaved and the way he lived is considered as dharma, because he is established in this truth, in this state of reality. But one who don't accept it, don't have faith in this dharma, Bhagavan says they don't attain me, aprapya mam. They do not realize their own identity. They don't realize their oneness with me. They don't attain me. They don't attain the ultimate goal of their life. So, aprapya mam nivartante, they again and again come back. Where? In this samsara. Mrityu samsara vartmani. In this samsara is full of sorrow, full of pain, full of all sorts of fears, sadness. This is called samsara. Samsara swapnatulyo hi ragadveshadi sankulaha. Shankaracharya says this samsara is like a dream, but it has got all sorts of experiences, bad, fear, sorrows, and all, like a dream. When you are experiencing a bad dream, it is an experience, though it is false, but it is an experience. You cannot deny. Even after waking up, people still continue to shiver. So similarly, though this whole world is just an appearance, but our understanding of it, if it is not proper, we experience sorrow, we experience pain, we experience ourselves taking birth. So this is all samsara, taking birth and dying again and again taking birth in some other form. This is called samsara. So Bhagavan says, one who do not have faith in this knowledge, one who do not pursue this path, one who do not gain the ultimate experience of their oneness, one who do not gain enlightenment, they again and again come in this samsara. Nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani, again and again. And it is helplessly. Helplessly we are caught up in some situation and it appears to be very real. See, if you just look at people around, you will find that everyone is involved, everyone is busy, everyone is very, very serious about what is happening, caught up in a mire, caught up in a jal like. And it goes on and on and on. As a human being, we have little freedom, we have little power, we have some purushartha, we can do some purushartha. But if we are born like animal, bird, plant, no purushartha, we can't do anything. Helplessly we are there. If we are born in capital, we will have capital punishment. As an animal, bird, a tree on the road, helplessly it is there. What can it do? It has to bear with all the pollution, everything. So Bhagavan says, if we don't gain this knowledge, what happens? And if we gain that knowledge, what will happen? He shows us both the sides. We can choose. See, in our life, as a human being, we have choices and we can choose. Options are given to us and we can choose. A seeker is one who chooses the good. We will come to that shloka later on. A seeker is one who chooses the good, and one who chooses the wrong thing remains in this samsara. Choice is there. Options are given. We may not have control over the options, but options comes in front of us, like our television. Very good example. Like our television. So many channels are there. We don't have any control over those channels. What they will show, what program they will show, as an individual, we don't have any control. We don't even know what they will do. But we have, if we have the remote control in our hand, we have choice. We can choose one of those options, one of the channels. We can choose to increase or decrease the volume. We can choose to even shut it down. We can choose anything. It is there in our hand. Human being has got a remote control in his hand, like somebody is using this. He has got a remote control in his hand and he can choose among various options. So seeker is one who chooses the good over the pleasant. He chooses God over the worldly pleasures. And one who chooses God attains God. One who chooses world gets the world. So Bhagavan has given us these two choices here. He says that one who doesn't choose this knowledge again and again fall in this samsara, and one who chooses that knowledge becomes free of this samsara. He says, Mokshase ashubhat. He becomes free of all that is ashubh. So after creating that great enthusiasm and desire in Arjuna's mind to gain this knowledge, now in the following two verses, Bhagavan reveals that knowledge. These two verses are like the backbone of this chapter, very important, but very subtle also. So let us try to comprehend them. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavvyaktamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavasthitah maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavvyaktamurtina masthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavasthitah. After telling and making preparing Arjuna to listen to this knowledge, now Bhagavan reveals the great secret, Rajaguhya and Rajavidya. He says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina. He just gives this statement. He says that by me is pervaded this entire world. Jagat, sarvam jagat, this entire world, maya tatam means pervaded, by me. I pervade the entire world. I exist in the world. In each and every particle of this world, I am present. I pervade the entire world completely. In Ishavasya Upanishad also it is said, Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagata. That this whole world is pervaded by that Ishvara. Just as the gold pervades gold ornaments. See, the cause pervades the effect. Gold ornaments are there, they're all pervaded by gold only. Or a pot made up of mud, the entire pot is pervaded by that mud. If someone is shown that object, he says, oh, it is a pot. But if you touch that, you are touching mud. You see mud. You hear mud. You taste mud. You smell mud. But we call it pot. If suppose a person is blindfolded and just given a little bit to taste that pot, he will say it's mud. Then smell, it's mud. And if he is given some other mud, also he says, oh, it's mud. So when he opens his eyes, then he says, this is a pot and that is mud. The entire pot is pervaded by mud because mud is the cause of that pot. Similarly, this entire cosmos is pervaded by that supreme reality. Maya tatam idam, it is present in each and everything of this world, each and every being. God is present everywhere. We hear this statement and we say it also all the time. Oh, I don't see him anywhere. He says, avyakta murtina. That's very important. Bhagavan says, I pervade the world in my unmanifest form. Means I pervade the world, I exist in the world, but you cannot see me. You cannot hear me. You cannot taste me. You cannot touch me. Because I am avyakta. Avyakta means unmanifest. Avyakta means that which is beyond the comprehension of our senses, our mind, our intellect. It cannot comprehend it. It cannot touch it. See, the eyes can only see, like human eye, we can only see a limited range of colors, limited frequency. Beyond the ultraviolet and or infrared, we can't see. We can see only within a particular range. That's the limitation of our eyes. But even with the best of equipment, we cannot see God. God is not someone who can be seen through the eyes, because He is the very source, very essence behind the eyes also. Our Pujya Gurudev used to give a beautiful example, like a torch, a flashlight with batteries inside. You switch it on and you can see in the dark room also. So father goes to the dark room along with his son and he looks around for a particular object. Then the son asks that how this whole light, how that light comes into this bulb? What illumines this bulb? Father says there are batteries inside. The son says, I want to see those batteries in the dark room. Father says, okay. So when he removes those batteries, the light goes away. When he puts the battery on, the lights come. With that light, he cannot see the battery because it's the very source of that light. Similarly, God or that pure consciousness is the very source of our senses, our mind, our intellect. It is the supreme self. With that senses and mind, we cannot see. So Bhagavan says here that I exist in this world in my unmanifest form. I cannot be seen. Avyakta. In Ramayana also, Tulsidas ji says that Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. Hari is Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. There he adds one line, Premate Pragata Hoi Mai Jana. He says when we have love, we can comprehend, we can experience God. But otherwise, he is unmanifest. He is there, but cannot be seen. He is there, but cannot be touched. Nice, no? Our God. Like him? It's very good. Now, what happens to all the nariyal I offer to him? He cannot, you can touch it, you give it, but he cannot, it cannot, it doesn't touch God. What we offer doesn't touch him physically. Even the light which we show to Bhagwan, it doesn't touch him. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Even the sun's light doesn't reach. Even the moon's light doesn't reach. Because he is the one, because of his light only all these objects, they have light in them. So that is the nature of God. This one first statement. There are 4 statements. This is the first statement. We will understand all the 4 separately and then try to understand them together. If you understand these 4, then you understand what is said in Bhagavad Gita, the essence. So, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina. And therefore Bhagavan has said that you should have faith, because what I will say may appear totally unbelievable. He was sitting there in the chariot. Arjuna could see him. Arjuna knew when he was born and who were his parents. And he knew his childhood friends also and the little stories which he had heard about him and how he used to steal butter and all. And here he is sitting in that chariot and is saying that I pervade the entire world. World is not this earth, World includes the entire cosmos. World means all that is experienced as this is called world. What I experience as different from me, what I experience through my senses, through my mind, through my intellect, all this is called world. So the entire cosmos, all the galaxies, all the stars, all the beings in the waking state, then everything, whatever we experience in our dream, that is also world. Our mind, our thoughts, our emotions, also part of world. Our past, our future, everything is world. It's called Jagat. That word Jagat is also very interesting. Ja means that which is born, jayate. Ga means gacchati, it keeps on changing. And ta means tishtati iva, as though it remains, but it constantly changes. It is born, it constantly changes, and then it perishes. Then again it is born, again it changes, again it perishes. So this world which we experience, Bhagavan says, I exist in this world in my unmanifest form. Oh, very good. What else? What else you want to tell us? Please tell. Bhagavan now gives another statement, very important. He says that matsthani sarva bhutani. Really, Arjuna, I said that I pervade this world, but little I want to change the statement. I want to modify it little bit now, because you have understood this much, so let me take you a step ahead. So this is the style of Vedanta. That it starts with a simple statement. Once it is comprehended, it takes you slightly at a higher level. So first understanding we should have is that this world which we experience is pervaded by God. God is present in the world. But second stage of understanding is that world is present in God. The world exists in God. It's not that world is a large thing and God is existing. No doubt God pervades the entire world, but the world exists in God. World depends on God. The existence of the world, the existence of all being depends on God, depends on that supreme reality. It's like, again, to give example of the gold ornaments. When we look at the gold ornaments, a person who doesn't know what is gold and he can see the gold ornaments, that person is told that gold is that which pervades all these ornaments. But the second stage is the ornaments exist in gold. Gold is independent. Gold can exist without the ornaments, but ornaments cannot exist without gold. The world cannot exist without God. God can exist without world. Reality can exist without world. But the world cannot exist without God. So, matsthani sarva bhutani, all these beings, right from Brahmaji to a tiny little ant, all beings and all that exist, they exist in me. Their very essence is me. Their self is me. We say this exists, this exists. We say this mic exists, the book exists. That existence in this mic and existence in that book is that God. He is the very existence behind all the objects of this world. So, matsthani sarva bhutani, all beings exist in me. Is it clear? Should we go one step ahead? Yes. Third, Bhagavan says that I don't exist in them. Na chaham teshu avasthitaha. I don't exist in this world. Arre, just now you said you exist in this world. He says that I don't exist in the world means my existence doesn't depend on the world. I am subtler than this world. My presence is there in this world, but my existence doesn't depend on the world. Therefore, I do not exist, I do not depend on this world. This is a very subtle point which Bhagavan makes here. For example, we see again to take the example of the ocean. The entire ocean is pervaded by water. All the waves are pervaded by water. One can say the water pervades all the waves. But the second statement will be that the waves exist in water. The third statement will be water do not exist in wave. Means water doesn't depend on wave. Water can exist without waves. Like this water here. No waves. Right? So water can exist without waves, but not a single wave can exist without water. So waves depend on water, but water doesn't depend on waves. That is the meaning of the statement. Bhagavan says, all beings exist in me, but I don't exist in them. Means I don't depend on them. I don't depend on this world for my existence. Is it clear? These three statements. So, maya tatamidam sarvam, the first statement is that I am present in this whole world, entire world, in my unmanifest form. Means I cannot be seen, I cannot be heard, I cannot be tasted, but I am present in this world. First statement. Second statement, the world exists in me. Third statement, I don't exist in the world. In the sense, I don't depend on the world. Clear? Now the fourth statement is so powerful, therefore Bhagavan has taken up another shloka for that. So be ready for it. Nachamasthani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram bhuta bhrunna cha bhutasthaha mamatma bhuta bhavanaha nachamasthani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram bhuta bhrunna cha bhutasthaha mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. He says, fourth powerful statement, Bhagavan says, Nachamasthani bhutani. In fact, in my real nature, there are no beings, there is no world. In my real nature, as I am, there is no world. World is just an appearance on me. Actually, there is no world in me. It's a very powerful statement. This is what we mean by God. Bhagavan has revealed his nature here. He says, in my essential nature, there is no world. I alone am. Okay. Again we will. And Pashyame Yogamaishwaram. Bhagavan said, this is, hey Arjuna, look at this, my great Aishwarya, my great yoga. This is my great yoga. So let us try to understand this fourth statement again. These four are like four stages of a spiritual evolution also. When we as sincere seeker, when we walk this path, we will have to cross these four stages. The fourth is the ultimate. The first stage is when we are just aware of this world. So when we are totally aware of the world only, we have to understand that we have to understand the presence of God in this world. When a seeker understands that this whole world is pervaded by God, that God is present in this world, that is, he has begun his spiritual journey. This world which we see is not just inert. This world which we see is not something bad. It is not something wrong. It is all pervaded by that one supreme divinity alone. There is nothing in this world which is non-divine. Everything, every person, every particle is pervaded by that supreme divinity. The presence of God is there everywhere. It's like you see a movie on a screen. The entire movie is supported by the screen. Whether the movie is good or bad or very bad, the entire movie is supported by the screen. Wherever you touch, suppose you are allowed to go and touch the screen. In the good old days, they had, when they used to show some movies of devatas and gods and all, people used to do arti also. They used to go on the stage there and do arti. Santoshi Mata arti or some other arti they will do. And suddenly the bijli will go and they will be just faced with a parda only. No Santoshi Mata, no nothing. Then suddenly bijli will come and again that... again you can do arti. So the entire movie which we see is supported by that screen, is pervaded by the screen. The large sky which we see, or a tiny little ant which we see in the movie, or the fast moving vehicle which we see, or just a mountain steady, all of them are pervaded by the screen. But when we are looking at the movie, we don't see the screen. Very strange. The entire movie is seen on the screen, but we don't see the screen. If somebody is told, as a child, okay, that there is a screen behind, white and all, he will not believe. He say, no, hero is there, he is running. Or little Krishna is there, or Hanumanji is there. Nowadays, those all cartoon films come. So they will say, oh, is Hanumanji flying. So when we are totally aware of the movie, and the movie is going on with all its color, music, drama, we are not aware of the screen. Somebody tells us that this entire movie is pervaded by the screen. It becomes a meaningless statement. We may not understand, but it is true. But then the next statement is the movie is supported by the screen. If the screen falls, the movie disappears. I remember in our childhood, when I was in Mumbai, during Ganesh Chaturthi, they used to show movies on societies and other places and all. And they used to put a big parda in between the two buildings and all. Bada parda laga ke ekdam pura, what you call that, projector and all they will bring and show the movie. One side you will find him shaking the hand with his right hand and another with his left hand. One can see from both the side of the screen. Yeah. So the movie is going on, everyone is totally engrossed in it. Kitne aadmi the? And that everyone is this. The whole scene is that. And always some people get annoyed with this movie, this, that and all. And their screen is tied in their balcony. In 4 balconies, the screen is tied. So 4 of them decide, let us untie this. So when the scene is going on, suddenly they untie. And when he is asking, ab tera kya hoga? And suddenly, the entire screen comes down and nobody is there. Neither the gabbar nor anybody, nothing is there. And big noise, big chaos, everywhere, kya ho gaya? Then again they raise the screen, again everyone appears. So the movie depends on the screen. The screen doesn't depend. The screen exists independent of the movie. After everything is over, somebody wraps it up and takes it home. It exists independent of the movie. God is like the screen. I mean, it's a very bad example, but what to do? It's like the screen. When one is aware of the movie, one is not aware of the screen. But when he is told that this entire movie is pervaded by the screen, this statement is true. Another statement, the entire movie depends on the screen. That is also true. Third statement, the entire, the screen doesn't depend on the movie. That is also true. And the fourth statement, the screen is independent of that movie. After the whole movie is over, you go and check the screen. There is no hero, there is no heroine, nothing is there. It is pure white. No dialogues, no music, no drama. It is just plain white cloth. Nothing is there. That is the truth. That is the reality. Our own self, what we call self, what we call God, or what we call the essence of this world is the screen. And the whole world and all this samsara and all is the drama which is happening on the screen. It's just a drama. For that, and this drama is created by this, what we call Maya, which is individually is like our mind. It's all projected by the mind, by the thoughts. The whole drama is projected by the thoughts. Just like on our computer screen, the entire drama is projected by all those bytes and bits and all those electrons. Similarly, this whole drama is projected by the mind. So the first step in the spiritual journey is to accept and understand that God, that supreme reality, pervades the entire world. He is there in me, He is there in you, He is there everywhere in His unmanifest form. That is the first understanding. Don't consider God as limited to a place, limited to a time, limited to a form. A spiritual understanding is God is not limited by space, time, concept. He pervades everything. If we say, no, He is there only in Vrindavan, He is there only in Haridwar, He is there only in Rishikesh, then it's limited. He is there in Rishikesh also, He is there in Karol Bagh also, and Patpatganj also. What about my society? He is there also. Everywhere He is there. He is not limited by form. He is there as Krishna, He is there as Rama, He is there as the whole world, He is there in all forms. He is there as a tiny little ant also. One can worship God as an ant. One can worship God as a tree, as a bird, as a mountain, as a river. He is there everywhere. He is he is she, he is it. So, you should not fight because of that, gender and all. So that is the first understanding. The second understanding, or second stage of understanding, is when we understand that the world is in God. We exist in that divinity. Not that divinity exists in this world, but world exists in divinity. That divinity is so vast, so subtle, and this world is like a tiny little thing which exists in it. It's like the vast ocean. What we